In 2008, the financial system broke, and confident forecasts vanished before the public's eyes. The shock was not just financial losses, but the realization that many predictions were based on fragile assumptions. Good prediction begins by distinguishing signal from noise, as most information points nowhere useful. Noise feels meaningful because it aligns with expectations, whereas signal is rarer and often appears uninteresting at first. When models treat uncertainty as a footnote, people overestimate precision that the world cannot provide. This mistake matters because errors compound, and a small miscalculation can lead to a cascading failure in connected systems. On television panels, a demand for a single exact outcome rewards certainty and punishes careful probability language. Later, the same speakers blame misses on bad luck without measuring what their claims implied beforehand. Next, you will learn how probabilities, calibration, and updating habits transform forecasting into a skill that improves. This video is inspired by The Signal and the Noise by Nate Silver. Subscribe if you want clearer prediction tools for real decisions. Information overload not only confuses but also creates more opportunities to mistake randomness for meaning. Noise can grow faster than signal, so a wider data stream can reduce clarity unless methods improve. Human perception is wired to detect patterns quickly, which helps survival but also manufactures false alarms. Once a pattern feels real, attention searches for confirming details and ignores plausible alternatives. After the invention of the printing press, arguments escalated because everyone could cite more material without resolving what was true. Reliable progress required rules, replication, and humility about what a single observation can support. The key move is to ask what mechanism could produce a pattern and whether that mechanism fits the context. Without that check, data mining becomes a contest to find something interesting rather than something correct. Treat early results as tentative and separate exploration from confirmation, using tests that punish false positives. Keep the signal list short and update it only when repeated evidence survives better explanations. Fox-style forecasters maintain several small models in mind, expecting noisy data to mislead them. Hedgehog-style forecasters rely on one big idea, forcing every new fact into that narrative. Foxes improve by making cautious probability claims and learning when reality contradicts their initial guess. Hedgehogs may sound decisive, but their certainty often stems from ideology and preference rather than measured accuracy. Experts sometimes claim an event has absolutely no chance, only to be surprised when it occurs. Overconfidence blocks learning because the forecast was never framed in a way that could be tested. Good prediction separates what should happen from what is likely, even when the likely outcome feels unpleasant. It also rewards admitting uncertainty, as honest ranges protect decisions from single-point failures. Write a probability and 2 reasons you might be wrong. Then compare your claim with outcomes later. Track which sources improve your accuracy, and downgrade those that mainly reinforce your identity. Risk is uncertainty that can be measured, whereas uncertainty includes unknown odds and hidden causal links. Trouble starts when a model pretends uncertainty is measurable risk, then prices the future with false precision. In mortgage markets, assuming defaults are uncorrelated hides shared shocks that can push many borrowers into trouble together. When those correlations rise, a model built on independence fails quickly, even if it appeared stable in calm years. Rating systems can turn this mistake into authority, as a high grade feels like verified safety. Investors then treat the grade as permission to leverage, and leverage turns small errors into huge losses. A better approach identifies which assumptions are fragile and asks what happens if they break simultaneously. It uses ranges and stress tests, because the right question is how wrong the model can be. Build buffers for shared shocks and refuse forecasts that offer one number without explaining uncertainty. If separating measurable risk from deep uncertainty matters for your plans, subscribe for more tools you can apply. Probabilistic forecasting enhances accuracy by explicitly stating uncertainty, turning vague confidence into a testable claim. Calibration ensures that the predicted percentages align with the actual outcomes in many similar cases. A 40% rain forecast should be correct about 40% of the time, not just when it seems safe. Weather forecasting improves rapidly because forecasters receive constant feedback, allowing them to measure whether their probabilities match reality. Feedback punishes empty certainty as missed forecasts are tracked and compared across many repeated situations. Over time, a careful probability range becomes more useful than a confident single number that hides uncertainty. This approach keeps beliefs flexible, allowing forecasts to be adjusted without forcing an emotional reversal when new evidence emerges. It also clarifies decision thresholds, enabling actions to be linked to probabilities rather than arguments. Record your probabilities, review long-term frequencies, and adjust when you find a bias in one direction. Small corrections repeated many times improve calibration and make forecasts more reliable under pressure. Overfitting occurs when a model learns the noise in past data, causing it to fail when conditions change. This risk is highest when theory is weak and data are limited, as chance patterns can appear like discoveries. In fields like earthquake prediction, elaborate schemes can fit historical data but still fail on new cases. The result is a flood of attention-grabbing claims that do not generalize, drowning out better signals. One comparison is a child finding animal shapes in clouds, where many interpretations feel plausible at once. Good modelling demands restraint, as complexity can look smart but quietly reduce real predictive power. The solution is to test on data the model has not seen, ensuring performance extends beyond the original sample. When out-of-sample accuracy vanishes, treat the pattern as noise and return to simpler mechanisms. Prefer models that explain why relationships should hold, not just that they matched yesterday's curve. When a result appears only after many hidden tries, assume it is noise until a clean test confirms it. Improving predictions turns them into a learning process, rather than a quest for certainty and control. The aim is to narrow the gap between what is known and what is assumed in your decisions. Bayesian thinking begins with a prior belief, which is then updated as evidence accumulates and tested. Stating your priors openly promotes honesty, as pretending to have none merely hides bias. This approach acknowledges that uncertainty is always present, so forecasts become flexible ranges that adjust with new information. Making numerous small predictions creates feedback, which transforms intuition into a record you can evaluate. Across various fields, the best habits include humility about noise, attention to calibration, and skepticism about overfit stories. When uncertainty is paramount, build buffers and avoid single-point forecasts that collapse under unexpected surprises. Start with one forecast this week, write your probability, and revisit it after outcomes provide you with lessons. To develop routines for updating beliefs and judging evidence, subscribe, as these habits prevent costly errors from recurring.